Just a little bit about the Cattlemen's Young Leaders in a couple sentences is that it's a mentorship program for people who are in the beef industry between the ages of 18 and 35. And we have somebody coming to fix that. And so what they do essentially is they apply to be in the program, and then they are matched up with a mentor. And so what this program does, it provides some industry-specific training and mentorship. Can we go back one slide? Okay. There we go. Perfect. It provides them industry-specific training and mentorship. It allows them to explore a potential future career and get involved in the industry, as well as certainly grooming beef advocates for the future. So part of this program has 3 different sections. It has a professional mentorship, an industry mentorship, as well as international mentorship. And the professional mentorship is particularly applicable to people who are perhaps currently in their university degree, perhaps they've just finished, or maybe they're taking on a new career choice and they're looking for some direction and some guidance as they embark on this new endeavor. So last year, they had a trial run in Alberta. There were 6 candidates, and so I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the people who were involved last year. In the middle, we have Cody Shooten. Him and his family own a 10,000 head, own and operated 10,000 head feedlot out in Diamond City. And Cody was really looking for some more information and guidance in terms of beef marketing. And so he was matched up with 2 fellows, Scott Enns and Derek Hill from Cargill, and they certainly gave him lots of information and a basis of where to go through with his future career. The next picture over is Sam Sperber, and her family own and operate a grain operation as well as a cow-calf operation in Rimbey, Alberta. And Sam, through her youth engagement, she had been really involved in some of the purebred industry, and she was particularly interested in bringing purebred cattle onto her farm and then learning how to market those into the future. So she was actually matched up with another young individual in the beef industry, Jordan Buba, out of Lewis Farms. And so the 2 ladies were able to really talk about the challenges that they have and all sorts of things about the purebred beef industry they were able to learn together. It was a great mentorship. So the next sector is the industry leader mentorship, and this is particularly for people who are already in the beef industry. They might be producers, they might have their own business, they sort of already have a foot in the door, but are interested in becoming more involved in the industry, perhaps sitting at the CCA board table or provincial boards, or just getting involved and playing a stronger leadership role in the industry. And so one of the people who did this is Ricky Fleming. Ricky Fleming is the senior herds person at the Animal Disease Research Institute out of Lethbridge. And she also has a purebred and commercial farm, family farm down there. And Ricky was particularly interested in biosecurity and health issues. And so she was matched up with Drs. Jelinski and Doran from Veterinary Agri-Health Services Limited. And I know that she had an absolutely amazing mentorship experience with them as well. So the third part of the CYL program is international mentorship. So what happens is you apply to be in the program, and then once you're in the program, you're able to apply to become an international advocate for Canadian beef. And so you're able to go through the completion of the project, and then you're selected to go on to these international trips. You're able to go to things such as the 5 Nations Beef Alliance, which was in Denver last year. It's going to be in Mexico this year. The International Livestock Conference, and other NCBA, which is the CCA equivalent in the United States, young producers events. So those are really great opportunities for young people in our industry to be able to go out and represent Canada and learn more about what it means for trade and cooperation in the world. And so now I'm going to turn it over to Rosie to talk a little bit about her wonderful experience in the CYL program as a mentee.
Okay, so I got involved with the CYL program in summer of 2010. I was approached by Jill Harvey, who a lot of you probably know. She was on the steering committee and the CCA policy analyst until she went off to have a baby this year. So Jill approached me about this program, said it was something that I might really be interested in, so I decided to apply through the Summer Synergy Livestock Program, which was a livestock show, which I'm attending again this year, has a great scholarship program. And of the scholarship recipients, it was myself and Sam Sperber who were selected to be part of the CYL launch. And at that point, I really didn't know a whole lot about it. I knew that it was a young cattleman program. I knew that I was going to learn a lot about the industry, but I didn't really know exactly how far it would get me, and it's been amazing what exactly it's done. So when I first started, I sent in to Jill a list of my interests, my qualifications, and to what extent I'm involved in the beef industry. I was raised on a purebred Hereford cow-calf ranch and backgrounding operation as well as crop farm. So I'm very involved in agriculture at the primary level, but I've always wanted to take it a little bit further. The politics of the beef industry, communicating to the consumer, and marketing have always been the greatest interest to me. So I sent that all off to Jill and didn't really have any ideas of what sort of person I wanted to be paired with. So she ended up, her and the steering committee paired me with Diane Finstead, who I'm sure a lot of you in this room know or have at least heard of on CKGY Red Deer. She's the Agriculture and Rodeo Director for CKGY. And at first, I obviously thought it was a great opportunity for networking. I didn't think of Diane initially because she's involved in ag broadcasting, which I hadn't really thought of as an avenue for me. But as we progressed through our mentorship, I realized that Diane and I are both very interested in telling the story of agriculture, communicating with our consumers, and that's what we had in common, and that's what I learned a lot from Diane. So over the course of our mentorship, we set out goals. There's clear goals for the program for what you want to accomplish with your mentor. So my goals were things like, how do we combat anti-agriculture and anti-animal ag groups? How do we deal with communicating to our consumer, letting consumers know exactly what we're doing, the issue of natural and organic, and how do we show them what really is safe? And I was also interested a lot in how she does her storytelling and interviewing. So we started off with, we did a media tour in Olds, and I got to network with a lot of the other communications officers of some big livestock and meat organizations in Alberta and Canada. We also had a few days where I got to just tag along with Diane in Red Deer and see what she does on a daily basis, whether she was going out to do interviews or reporting or in the office. So I found that really interesting, and I also got to do, one of the highlights was accompanying Diane to the Canadian Finals Rodeo, where we got to have behind-the-chutes press passes and interview all the winning cowboys. So that was pretty fun for me. And we also reported on Farm Fair International. I was her little correspondent at the Supreme Show because she wasn't able to be there, so I got to send her all the results and talk a little about that on her radio show. So she interviewed me a few times after different CYL events and judging 4-H, other cattle things I was involved in. And I also had a lot of communication with the other cattlemen's young leaders. There was only 6 of us, as we said in the Alberta pilot. However, it's grown a lot this year. It's up to 16 nationwide from 6 Alberta-wide. So my communication with those mentors has continued, with those, other mentees, has continued to industry contacts and people that I'll always remain close with and maintain those contacts to do business in the future with. And if all of that wasn't enough, getting to go to all these meetings and roundtables and networking, they decided to send us off to Denver. So there was, as you can see, 7 of us, including Jill, that came from Alberta. There's one from Saskatchewan, one from Manitoba as well. And we were able to attend the 5 Nations Beef Alliance Young Ranchers program. And what that entailed was, among many other things, we got to meet with Dr. Temple Grandin, which was one of my absolute highlights of the trip, if not my life, because we got to talk a lot about her work with animal welfare, animal agriculture, and communication as well. And we also got to sit in on various roundtables. We were spoken to by the group of NCBA executives. We had, which is very rare apparently, we had the president and 3 of the vice presidents and a past president in the room all at once talking to the group of young people about policy and trade and relations. So on from that, we got to do roundtables with the 5 nations and basic networking with all of those people all week, and I still maintain my contact list of those people. I'm sure if I'm ever in the States, Mexico, or New Zealand, Australia, Argentina, where all these people I met, I would definitely make an effort to visit. So the international contacts were really invaluable from this experience. So now that I'm a CYL graduate, I have found that the program doesn't stop when you end your mentorship. So although I had my graduation ceremony, I said my farewell, I'm still here today. The point is that I'm an advocate for the program now, but I'm also an advocate for the entire cattle industry and the beef industry in Canada. So I think that was their idea. That's what they wanted to do with me. They were grooming us to be future leaders, and I'm perfectly okay with that. So I'm here today. Me and Fawn are jumping on a flight to go to Washington, D.C. to speak to the NCBA Young Cattlemen's Council as soon as we leave here. So I'm making an effort to expand my desire to communicate agriculture with the consumer, and I'm doing that on a lot of different fronts because of the opportunities that CYL has opened up for me. So it's definitely been one of the most valuable things I can put on my resume, some of the best contacts I've made, and overall life experience that I'll carry with me for a very long time. So with that, I'll quit babbling and hand it back to Fawn.
So I hope Rosie and I have sparked your interest in the program, and if you want to learn anything else, you're going to be able to go to the Cattlemen's Young Leaders website. I hope in the future you're going to look for the biographies of our upcoming candidates. So just a little bit of an overview of CYL in 2011. So applications open in November. They opened in November of 2010, and they were open until January 25th. We had about 50 applications from across Canada. From those 50 applications, 24 semifinalists were selected, and then actually brought to Edmonton for a roundtable discussion where they were able to discuss high-end industry topics. And so from those 24, 16 were selected. And I have to tell you, a little bit of background. So what happened was Jill Harvey had contacted me. I was down in Oklahoma finishing my school, and she said, Fawn, I'd really like you to come check out this program. And I thought, okay, yeah, I could apply and be in this program. That would be really wonderful. And then she goes, no, I think you might be really good to coordinate it. And I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe. Okay, so then I ended up in Edmonton coming to the CYL forum, and I was absolutely floored at the successes that the candidates had achieved already in their life. And I was going, oh my gosh, I can't organize these people. They have way more experience than me. And besides getting them a mentor, I really need to go out and get myself a mentor, so I'm gonna be able to do this. So I think it really speaks to the agriculture industry and how they do in grooming advocates. So that's just a picture of the candidates, some exciting dates. For this year upcoming is October. We're going to be going to Mexico to the Five Nations Beef Alliance Young Ranchers event. We'll just keep on flying through these. November, applications are going to open, so certainly if you know somebody who you think is going to be excellent for the program, please encourage them to apply. We're going to go to the International Livestock Conference in the Denver Stock Show. And then in 2012, Canada is actually going to host the Five Nations Beef Alliance program. As well, throughout the year, our mentors and mentees go to all sorts of industry events that they have a $2,000 budget to be able to go to these events. There's short courses at Olds College. There's provincial organization events, the International Livestock Conference, the Value Chain Roundtables, conferences, and all sorts of amazing opportunities that these young people have to attend. So this all wouldn't be possible with amazing support. So in June of 2010, Alma put forth their support, $198,900 over 3 years to the development of this program. A month later, Cargill came forward with $70,000 to be another foundation partner, along with CCA. Official supporters are the Canadian Cattlemen's magazine. They look for the articles on our candidates in that magazine, as well as FCC, Myers-Norris Penny, 4-H, ILC, CYFF, and Summer Synergy. That brings us to the end of our presentation. We hope you're just as excited about the CYL program as we are, and we know that this is certainly going to groom beef advocates and agriculture advocates for the future. So thank you very much.